He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. She gatecrashed Highbrow Hippie. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. This one's wife forced her way in to the recent Highbrow Hippie event. She gatecrashed it. I'll be explaining presently how we know this, and also why did she do this. But before I share that information with you, this one's wife has become increasingly desperate. Everything that she tries to do fails. The Sadim touch, where it's the reverse Midas touch. She is unpopular. Brands don't really want to know her. Cosmetic giants and fashion houses have kept their distance. The A-list has turned its back. And as a consequence of that, we have seen her go on a trip to Nigeria and Colombia, not places that she ordinarily would choose because she believes that she should be standing shoulder to shoulder with the A-listers in Hollywood. We saw how she turned up on the green carpet at the LA Children's Hospital Gala, where Lizzie Cundy explained that she only turned up for the photographs, and it was suggested that she wasn't actually invited, and she muscled her way in as a +1, but didn't actually stay for the dinner because she wasn't invited to it. We've had instances previously where she's claimed to be at events, but no photographs have manifested. And it's increasingly the case that as a consequence of her sense of entitlement, her lack of boundary recognition, her lack of accountability, all coming together to assist her with regard to the pursuit of the prime aims, the fact that she's increasingly becoming persona non grata amongst the great and the good of the world that she wants to inhabit, that she is exhibiting more and more of her narcissism as she clamours to be involved at events. You'll be aware that over the course of the weekend, I provided a number of videos dissecting her behaviour at the Highbrow Hippie event. The outlet which first broke news of this event was actually In Style, and I'm going to explain to you how it is that this one's wife has gatecrashed events in this manner. First of all, we need to just go through the In Style article to understand what it tells us that demonstrates the way that this one's wife has muscled her way in. In Style were the first to tell us all about this new venture that was taking place in respect of Highbrow Hippie, and then the reports of the launch party came thereafter. Lauren Valenti wrote in Style, "This is the secret to maximising hair growth, according to Julia Roberts and this one's wife's colourist. The irony of Hollywood stars and their hair is that it must always be perfect, shiny, smooth and voluminous, regardless of the inevitable toll making it perfect takes. Think non-stop styling, hot tools and constant colour recalibrating. No one knows this better than celebrity colourist Katie Lee, who tends to the famous strands of Julia Roberts, this one's wife and Gwyneth Paltrow out of her Venice Beach salon. Highbrow Hippie. With more than 25 years of experience, Lee has a coterie of A-listers on her roster, and the reason they look to her is twofold. She supplies vibrant and dimensional colour, and does so while keeping their hair long and lush in the process. I work with some of the most visible women in the world. Keeping their health healthy has always been at the top of my mind," says Lee. Katie is a hair goddess, says Julia Roberts, whom Lee has made virtually every shade of blonde, brunette and red. She is so invested in her artistry and making sure everyone looks the best they can. And while Lee insists that good hair health is holistic, she's bottling some of the magic in her new Highbrow Hippie hair wellness line, developed alongside her salon co-founder and longtime friend, Mika Harris. The pair, who first met as students and opened their hair atelier in 2019, designed their debut offerings, a supercharged scalp serum and, well, being supplement to optimize all the tenets of good hair health, from luster to density. Roberts acted as guinea pig for the line in its many development and testing phases, as did several other famous patrons of Highbrow Hippie. My hair gets put through a lot at work, and I am amazed it has held up over the years, says Roberts. We can all use a bit of hair health and support, and this is it for me. I feel like my hair has had a holiday after using these products. Lee and Harris have seen their clients through many seasons of life, including postpartum and aging into their 40s and 50s, when hair loss becomes more pronounced. The duo point to statistics that have motivated their work. 80% of women experience hair loss throughout their lifetime. It's among the top issues affecting women's self-esteem. Moreover, hair health is often an early indicator of various larger health issues, such as chronic stress or hormonal imbalance, but is not always taken seriously. So they set out to formulate comprehensive science-backed formulas that prevent and treat the root causes of hair loss. We always knew we wanted to start a product line, and the conversations being had with clients made it clear that it needed to be about hair health, the pair explain. We knew that we needed to start there and provide them with a comprehensive system that treats the root causes of hair loss and damage while holistically supporting overall wellness and longevity. So far, so press release, and you'll notice that this one's wife has been mentioned once. The quotes have come from Julia Roberts, and we're being told about what their motivation was for this product. They continue. On the topical front, the Root Replenish Active Growth Serum targets scalp fitness. It then talks about what it does, and then it talks about how the Essential Wellbeing Complex addresses hair health, and then they talk about how you should use the supplement, etc. It then states, the line's potential has drawn attention from this one's wife, not just as a client, but as an investor as well. Katie has a mastery of hair health, and her Highbrow Hippie collection is a perfect reflection of that, this one's wife tells in style. I am so proud to invest in her as a friend and as a female founder. There's then a final paragraph which I needn't bother you with. That's the essence of the article, which clearly stems from a press release that was issued by Highbrow Hippie, which has then been picked up on by InStyle and others thereafter. Now, I put this article to my PR expert and invited her to explain how this is broken down. And what she came back with was to demonstrate how this one's wife has gatecrashed this launch, how she wasn't actually involved and she's muscled her way in. How so? Well, my PR expert explains. The article is based on promotional material clearly provided by the Highbrow Hippie brand, and this appeared before the launch party that this one's wife attended. My PR expert's clear view of the PR material is Julia Roberts is seen as an asset, and this one's wife is seen as a liability, a Janie come lately who's muscled her way in. How do we know this? Well, first of all, you'll notice, or I will highlight for you, the fact that the piece that I read to you quotes both Roberts and Lee directly. It talks from them. So you heard, for instance, Katie is a hair goddess, says Roberts. She is so invested in her artistry and making sure everyone looks the best they can. She then talks about how her hair gets put through a lot at work, and I'm amazed it's held up over the years, says Roberts. And Lee talks about, we always knew we wanted to start a product line, the conversations being had with clients made it clear that it needed about hair health, etc. So my PR expert has explained that what we're seeing there is that there was specially prepared press material which was able to get quotes direct from Julia Roberts and, of course, the founders of the business, and they were then sent to InStyle. Notice that when it came to mentioning this one's wife, she was not part of the press release, because she's quoted as "this one's wife tells InStyle," meaning that InStyle heard from her. Either they contacted her to get a quote, or her PR people contacted them to muscle in on the action. Either way, this one's wife's quote was not part of the original press release from Highbrow Hippie. However, this one's wife, in typical fashion, felt the need to insert herself into the InStyle story next to Julia Roberts, bragging about her investment and how she is a proud friend and a fellow female founder. So first of all, she wants to be seen in the same vein as Roberts, character trait acquisition. She shows a lack of boundary recognition by muscling in on the action. And furthermore, she talks about being a fellow female founder of what? ARO, which is the patient is dead and needs to go into a shallow grave. Thus, we can see clearly, when shone under the light of examination from my PR expert, that the InStyle article was founded on prepared press material which quoted Julia Roberts, that quoted Katie Lee, but didn't quote this one's wife. She wasn't wanted. She wasn't involved. She's seen as a liability. But there's more that is demonstrative of the fact that this one's wife has muscled in and gatecrashed this event. And there is further evidence demonstrating that this one's wife has gatecrashed this event. You will notice the photograph which shows Mika Harris and Katie Lee. It states, "Photo, courtesy of Highbrow Hippie." The next photographs are Julia Roberts and Julia Roberts with Katie Lee. You will see photo courtesy of Highbrow Hippie Getty Images, meaning that one was taken by Getty Images but has been supplied by Highbrow Hippie as part of the package, and the other came from Katie Lee. It was her photograph and she supplied it. Thus, what we know is that the images there have been pulled together by Highbrow Hippie, and there's another which shows off the product which states "photo courtesy of Highbrow Hippie," demonstrating those are the photographs that they provided as part of the press pack, the PR release that was sent to InStyle. But when we come to the photograph of this one's wife, it states that it's from Getty Images. Highbrow Hippie didn't provide that. Highbrow Hippie didn't provide this one's wife's quote. Highbrow Hippie didn't provide the photo of her in their promotional material. They didn't want her involved. Why would you want her involved? First of all, you've got a movie siren, an A-lister, an Oscar winner in Julia Roberts, who's speaking very highly of the brand. Accordingly, that's fantastic publicity for you. A bona fide Oscar-winning A-lister who uses your services and your products, speaking highly of them, and is happy to be quoted. You don't need anything else beyond that. Nevertheless, what then happens? This one's wife feels the need to not only gatecrash the publication of the press material by muscling in on the action with InStyle, by providing a quote even though Highbrow Hippie didn't want her involved, by having a picture involved even though Highbrow Hippie didn't supply it, but she also then turns up at the launch party to essentially sexually assault poor old Katie Lee in person after bringing roses from her own garden because she's too cheap to spend any extra money and actually buy the flowers. Notice again that this one's wife has to let everybody know where the flowers come from. Oh, they're from my garden, which is part of her facade management. You've just provided some flowers. Just hand them over. You don't need to tell everybody where they're from. Do you turn up and say, "Oh, I brought you some flowers that I got from Interflora down the road"? No. But of course, this one's wife has to let everybody know to demonstrate, they're from my garden, I'm such a talented gardener, and look how kind I am to bring them. Accordingly, this one's wife has muscled in on the action once again. My PR expert also highlighted the fact, notice who was actually absent from the Highbrow Hippie party. Yes, Julia Roberts. Gracious as she may be to offer words of support to the business of the hairdresser, she's still a movie star, and Katie Lee is a humble working-class service provider. A-listers and true royalty don't come to servants' humble gatherings. They just do not do it because they're up in the rarefied atmosphere. A-listers, my PR expert explains, have other things to keep them occupied on a weeknight, and they keep friends in high places. They don't need to pay staff to pretend that they are A-listers' friends. A-listers pay staff for the service, nothing else, and the staff knows that as well. Accordingly, this one's wife demonstrating once again her sense of entitlement, her lack of accountability, her absence of boundary recognition as she muscles in on the press release and the event itself, demonstrating that she wasn't actually wanted. Because why would you want somebody who is increasingly seen as toxic? And moreover, why would you want this one's wife involved when you've got Julia Roberts? The useful PR input demonstrates once again how this one's wife has sought to gatecrash, that she's not wanted, but like the ghost at the feast, she has to try and involve herself in some way, and the evidence demonstrates the case that Highbrow Hippie didn't want her involved in the launch material, they got Julia Roberts instead. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.